Now, let's return to our top story. Interest rates, of course, big day for the Bank of England. Normally that comes with a amount of certainty and jeopardy, but today it seems that we think we know what's going to happen, and that is that interest rates are going to be cut, with potentially more to come this year. Analysts predict the bank will cut the UK's base interest rate from 4.75% to 4.5%, which would be the lowest in more than 18 months. It could go even further, though, maybe cut it by 0.5%. Let's get more on this. Speak to Max Shepherd, Group Economist at the Yorkshire Building Society. Very good morning to you, Max. What's your prediction? Are we looking at 0.25% cut today?
Thank you. Good morning. Yes, we are. So the market at the moment expects maybe 95% chance of a 0.25% cut this afternoon, getting us to 4.5%. And then thereafter, they expect maybe 3 or 4 cuts, including this one, for the remainder of this year.
And Max, why is that? Why is the bank going to cut rates today?
So they think they've got a much better grip on inflation now versus where we were 12 months ago. So at the moment, the year-on-year inflation rate is 2.5%. Obviously, the inflation target is 2%. Although that is expected to rise a little bit, maybe up to around 3% mark in April 2025, I think they've done the hard yards. So therefore, cutting interest rates now to something slightly less restrictive is an appropriate sort of path for base rate.
And there is clearly also concern about growth, isn't there? I mean, the forecasts for this year in terms of growth are not where they were even just a couple of months ago.
Yes, there is. So we saw 2 consecutive months of contraction in September and October in terms of GDP. November was positive at 0.1%, but slightly behind where the markets expected it to be. So we are expecting growth. 1.3% is the current market expectation for 2025. So therefore, they're trying to get ahead of the curve and try and cut rates a little bit to try and stimulate the economy.
And what's fascinating about this is how quickly kind of things have changed. I remember not that long ago, the back half of last year, suggesting that actually there might be only 1 cut this year, if at all. And actually, where we sit today, in early February, the expectation is that we could see 2, 3, maybe more interest rate cuts this year.
Yes, yeah, exactly. The markets are quite fickle and often changing their mind based on data that's coming out and guidance from the Bank of England. I think what's been changing in recent months is Andrew Bailey has consistently said a gradual reduction in interest rates remains appropriate. And I think what the market is inferring from that is gradual, meaning quarterly interest rate cuts, providing the data continues on the path that it is doing at the moment.
And just in terms of the macro economy, the wider economy, this has consequences, doesn't it? Particularly this effort to try and find growth, because it's going to have a big impact on the public finances and decisions that the Chancellor is going to have to make in the not too distant future.
So interest rates falling is a positive for the Chancellor in that it reduces that debt servicing cost, which is key. But as you said, they are really keen on getting growth stimulating, and interest rates today going downwards should be a positive step towards that.
And just finally, Max, what's your sense of where the MPC, the Monetary Policy Committee, will end up in terms of the division, if you like, that we always talk about between those that want to go further and those that actually think maybe that 0.25% is enough?
Yeah, that's the golden question. So as it stands, we probably expect Catherine Mann, who at the moment is the most hawkish of the members. She is the most likely to want to leave rates unchanged, but we expect a vote of 8-1, and that's the market expectation. But anything either side of that, so a 9 votes for cuts, or conversely 7-2 or 6-3 vote, would ultimately would change the interest rate expectations going forwards. So we'd wait and see.
Indeed. Midday, we're going to get the answers to those questions. Max, appreciate your time this morning. Max Shepherd, there from the Yorkshire Building Society.